So in this video, I would like to talk about a trip that I did to Guam and Saipan. Guam and Saipan are two very small islands in the Pacific Ocean. They had a lot of significance in World War II, and I am fascinated by World War II history, specifically the American-Japanese conflict, because here in the UK we don't hear so much about the Japanese-American conflict, which was a major part of World War II. So it was on my list of things to do to go and visit those places, and luckily back in 2018 I managed to get there. So I'm just going to talk briefly about those two islands, what I did when I was there, and the places that I visited. So I'm in Saipan, finally, got here this morning, just doing some sightseeing for the World War II history that this place is famous for, and managed to pick up some Christmas tree shaped Reese's peanut butter cups. These two places are very far from everywhere. I'm from the UK, and from the UK it's really far. I haven't really met anybody from the UK that's actually been to these places. America, it's also very far from the mainland. Even though it is part of the US, it's still several hours flight from the mainland. It's basically made up of a lot of military personnel from the United States and a lot of Japanese tourists, because Japan is relatively close to Guam. Even Japan, I flew from Japan, and it's still a good 3.5 hour flight. Now, of the two islands, Saipan is better for the history, in my opinion. But you have to go to Guam if you're going to go to Saipan. It's not really possible to go to Saipan on its own. They're very near each other. You can fly from Guam to Saipan. It's only about a half-an-hour flight. It's very close. But Guam is the main gateway. That's where all of the big international flights go. But in terms of seeing the historical sites, Saipan has more of the historical sites. The main highlights were the last Japanese command post, which was basically built into a cave. That was insane. That was really spectacular. It's in this cave, and you can actually go in. Like, it's so cool. Like, cave. This is it. Wow. This was the last post for the Japanese, the military, in the Battle of Saipan. Absolutely, man. Look at this. Wow. It's basically built into a cave, into the side of the cliff. Those same cliffs up just over there. There's a lot of the old machinery is still there that they used to use. Some of the weapons, they're still there on display. The cemetery, obviously, where a lot of the soldiers are buried. Cemetery here. This is all American soldiers who died in the Battle of Saipan. You can see the flags up there. These are all the graves. And the most shocking thing was Suicide Cliff, which is a massive cliff. Basically, when the Japanese surrendered, a ton of civilians jumped off the cliff and committed suicide. The cliffs up there, you can see the cliffs just behind. They are called the Suicide Cliffs. And over the course of a few weeks, about 8,000 people, mostly Japanese civilians, jumped from the cliffs because the propaganda was spread by the military that don't under any circumstances get captured by the Americans, because if you do, it would be worse than dying. So the people were basically brainwashed to, if the Japanese were to lose, to commit suicide. About a mile or so away from the Japanese memorial, the beach is just down there. But I just stopped here because there's a real good panoramic shot of the Suicide Cliffs, which is this. So this is Suicide Cliff. This is where approximately 8,000 Japanese military and civilians committed suicide. This is the cliff. This is actually the cliff where it happened. So you can get right to the edge. It's really high. I didn't realize it was so high. Now, when you arrive in Saipan, the only way that you can really go and see these sites is to hire a car. This is my car for the day. Picked it up from the airport just a bit ago. You hire a car for the day, you can see everything. It's a very small island. You can drive around it in half an hour, 1 hour. It's not big at all. You can see everything very easily. So hire a car for the day, you can see all of these sites. Guam is slightly bigger. It's not massive, but it's more congested. It's a lot more busy and commercial than Saipan. It's a lot more touristy. You will realize that you are in America because a lot of the American shops and restaurants are all there. But at the same time, it's different. It's very different to any of the mainland states. So it's very American in some ways, but in some ways it's very unique as well. Spectacular beaches, great swimming. The great thing is you can explore the whole island. You can find entire beaches to yourself, which I did. And if you love swimming in the sea, it was clean water, very warm. It was warm, it was like a bath. It was fantastic. The weather in these places is always hot, it's tropical. So the water was very warm and it was spotlessly clean. I had entire beaches to myself. I spent the whole afternoon at the beach just swimming. This is Shark Cove Beach in Guam. And blue water, clear, crystal clear, empty beach, nobody here except me. Been swimming for the last half an hour because it's so nice. That goes for Guam and Saipan. Both of the places have got incredible beaches. I basically did 2 days in each place, and that was pretty much enough. I think I was able to fit everything that I wanted to in. The only thing that I didn't do, which I would have liked to do, I didn't take another flight to another island called Tinian. And Tinian is significant because it is the island where they actually launched the atom bombs, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki atom bombs. They launched them from this island Tinian. It's right next to Saipan, but there's no boats and there's no bridge, so you have to take a flight. So I didn't go there, but I did go to the shore on Saipan and looked across to Tinian, so I did actually see the island. That is the island where the Americans launched the 2 atom bombs, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The aeroplane that was carrying them took off from that island. If you want to go to Tinian as well, you need to take an extra couple of days, I think. If you're going to go all that way anyway, then you might as well take an extra couple of days. Despite the distance, it is well worth it, especially if you're interested in World War II. This place is absolutely spectacular. You'll learn a lot, it will open your eyes. I highly recommend everybody should visit Guam and Saipan. So this is the northern tip of Saipan. That's the cliff edge right here. Goes straight over into the Pacific Ocean. The ocean looks lovely. It's like clear blue, very clean. This is basically another memorial area. There's a Japanese memorial up there, Peace Memorial. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's well worth coming. I recommend it to everybody. It's a hell of a mission to get here because it's very far from everywhere, but it's well worth it, especially if you're interested in history, because there's a hell of a lot to see. Yeah, that's the Pacific Ocean. Thanks for watching.